Good morning. This is the 20th of May, 2020, Wednesday morning. And I'm making this video for the HOA, for my neighbors, for any court appearance I may have in the future. I have a unique situation here that I'm documenting. I've been documenting it for years. And this is to preempt or in preparation. If I get any more letters from the HOA, I'll have this video immediately ready to go out. I'm going to go load it on YouTube. I'll make it unlisted so it'll only be sent to the HOA first. But if I don't get a response from the HOA, or if I get a negative response, or if I get fines and discipline and things like that, I have this video. And I'm going to try to be as complete as I can with what's going on, why I have to do this job, and why it looks like such an eyesore from the street. You don't understand, but it's an eyesore to me. You have to have knowledge that I have to understand the eyesore that I see. These two houses, finished floor elevations, are 3 inches apart. The house on the left is 3 inches below the house on the right, finished floor elevation. I have to preface this every video with the fact that this house right here is out of compliance for the finished floor elevation, which affects the grading and the drainage of the surface water off the lot, and it affects the sewer pipe efficiency to the main sewer pipe going down the street. That finished floor elevation was calculated years ago by an engineer who knew the depth of the sewer pipe at the street, and he adjusted the finished floor elevation for this lot accordingly so that this lot and this house would have an equal angle geometry, would have equal geometry to that sewer pipe in the street as that house. Because this house got lowered 3 inches, when they laid the pad. They couldn't get the pad laid. The people who lay pads, they're contractors, that union or that journeyman group that lay pads, they're independent of the builder. The builder sublets that out, or they sub that pad laying out to a contractor, and that pad cannot, those contractors that lay pads, they only lay what's on the permit. If it isn't on the permit, we're not touching, we're laying whatever the permit says. So because of that, there's a footprint in the history of this title for this, and right now it's a cloud on the title of this lot, because I'm paying a sewer fee for sewer pipes that were intentionally, I was saddled with poor geometry. Just like you'd handicap a horse in a race. You give him a saddle that's weighted. You weight him on a long race to make him equal, or not equal, less than equal with the rest of the field. Okay? That's what happened when the builder got together with a bureaucrat downtown and deviated from the master plan, deviated from the blueprint for this house and this lot. That master blueprint, master plan said, and on the front page of the grading document, it's like a 50 page document, the grading map that has all the finished floor elevations for every house in the community is on that document. And on that document, it says this house is supposed to be 3 inches higher than it is. And I finally got my hands on the permit, the legal permit that was issued for that house, this house. And when you do the extrapolation, you extrapolate the numbers using their scale, which they use, it comes out to a 3-inch difference mathematically. When you look at what the permit says and you do the math, it comes out as a 3-inch difference. I have water levels. If I go from one patio to the other patio or one finished floor to the other with the water levels, this one's 3 inches below. So the house is out of compliance. I've been paying taxes, dues, and I've been hobbled with a house that has a cloud on the title. And the reason is I haven't been able to sell it. I had a for sale sign on it. It's not that I'm being unreasonable on the price. But when I start telling people that the house, I have to disclose to you that they permitted the builder to drop this house 3 inches to deviate from the master plan. What that caused, the cause and effect of dropping that 3 inches is all the water from this house, that 12 feet that it travels from there to there, from that house to that house, is a 3-inch difference. Now, I'm going to review what I'm going through here. And the reason I have to go through this, and it's the 3rd time I've done it, all my labor, all my time seems like for the last 4, 5, 6 years is trying to correct this. Now, I'm going to show you right here my work that was done 5 years ago. You see all this packed down? You see this tarp, this plastic, and this tarp? I have to pull it all back. That's why I'm going to be out there for the next week or all summer long. I'm going to get out here early in the morning all summer long, and I'm going to try to correct this more. Where you see those cables, right there, and where you see the dirt go up to the stucco, where that white pipe is, there used to be 6 inches there. 5 or 6 inches of clearance. And it was just a trough up against that pad where the water would migrate, and I would have a lake 4, sometimes 3 feet, 4 feet wide, a wet area around this pad, and it all came from here. And another thing the builder did is between here and that lighthouse out there, about 20 feet out from both pads, they put a sandbar, a berm that isolated these 2 properties from ever draining onto the golf course. So all the water that came off these roofs, this roof, my neighbor's roofs on both sides, all that water was trapped up here in a retention basin. This house right here, I haven't seen all the other ones in the neighborhood, but I would venture to guess, I would bet any money, I think it would probably be even odds that this is the lowest finished floor elevation in all of parcel 12. It's the lowest floor elevation in all of parcel 12. Now, this was all done 5 years ago, and I covered it up once. But I'll send you a video of one of the last storms we had. One of the last storms that went through here a couple of months ago, I think it was March 13th. It was the 3rd day of storms. The first day we got a storm, it got the water on the lots, and the lots got damp and a little saturated. Second day, all the lots up here got a little more saturated. On the 3rd day is when we got the most intense storm. For about 20 minutes, it came down at a rate, could have been 1 inch an hour, 2 inches an hour for about 20 minutes. Well, in that period of time, I had lakes all over my house again. So I haven't fixed it. Okay, I'm still not able, and the reason I'm pushing this rock uphill, the reason I have to push this rock uphill to try to get the water from here to the street is because somebody was dishonest. The dishonesty to me of not disclosing to me, not getting my permission. I had a contract on this house on the day they got the permit to lower it 3 inches. I signed the contract for that house on the 7th of December 2003 is when I bought the house intent. I gave them $2,000. I picked the lot. And then about 3 weeks later, at New Year's, I came down with another check for $28,000 because we had written a cash deal that I was going to have installments while it was being built, and I did. So my first installment, they had $30,000 of my money, okay? The leverage they had on me, they had not only 30, but they had leverage. I was never going to be able to walk away from this deal. If I ever walked away from the deal, I was going to lose $30,000. And it wasn't like I was doing this on credit. If I would have been doing it on credit, say I would have had $4,000 or $5,000 into it, if somebody would have told me the day before I closed, you know, they messed with the floor elevation, they never told you. They did it on purpose. They needed a place to park water up there, and you're it. You're an outsider. You're not from around here. You're not a townie. And we're open for business. That golf course, we don't want to ever have it interrupted because of water damage. Of all those houses up there draining on the course and shutting down the course. It's not going to be a skid plate in the monsoon. So, the highest and best use of Tract A and those lots up there is to store water north of the 6th hole and north of the 6th tee. It's the ladies' tee. Okay? We have to protect the ladies' tee. We have to put a place to store water. And we have this loser from out of town that was dumb enough to give us $30,000 up front. He actually I guess he didn't get the word about Buckeye. He's not from around here. If he wasn't from around here, he wouldn't be dealing with people with Buckeye by giving them cash up front. I hope everybody in Arizona understands that. Buckeye's got the worst reputation. Well, anyway, this tarp right here, I'm going to try to take the rock back. I'm going to sift it through here. I've told you in other videos, and I'm going to tell you right now, this rock right here, I had this job done. That tarp went down last year. I did all the grading 5 or 6 years ago. As soon as I found out, through due diligence, I went and got the blueprints for the community, and then I got my hands on the permit, and they don't agree. It'd be like going to get an emissions test with your car, and when the guy looked on the car, on the ID on the dash of the car, and matched it up to the paperwork, it didn't match. So you failed emissions. That's basically what happens when you look at the permit and you look at the blueprint for the master blueprint, the master controlled document for the community. There's a mismatch. So I failed the effluent test to the street. If there was a test that, and just by walking in, as soon as they see, well, the finished floor elevation doesn't match the master document for the community, which says you can't touch a finished floor elevation, forbidden. Note 4 on the front page. Note 4 on the front page of the grading document, the master grading document with all the signatures and stamps and approvals, all that paperwork buried in there. If you look, and I did, I happen to understand maps, and I can do the forensic. When I did the forensic and realized that this house was 3 inches out, I went to lawyers, and the lawyers gave me absolutely no remedy. Their only remedy is give me $20,000 before I hear any more of your story. Give me $20,000 as a retainer and expect 2 years and $200,000 to fix this. So I decided 4 years ago I'll sell it. But I'm going to sell it honestly. I'm not going to do to someone that buys my house for the price I want for it. I'm not going to let them buy this house thinking that they have a 100% complete legal sewer pipes or lot drainage. And whenever I've gone through about a dozen realtors, I've gone through a dozen local realtors from Buckeye, and when I tell them that I think tract day, they changed the highest and best use of tract day. I don't have the use of it as a golf cart access, and it doesn't drain. It's another retention basin built above the ladies' tee box to protect the ladies' tee. But this is a rock I'm pushing uphill. I've made this, I've explained it. I'm going to make one daily as I progress. But, like I said, any letter I get in the future, every time I start a project on my lot to try to fix the drainage, I'm afraid to go to the mailbox. I have a phobia about going to the mailbox every time I start a project like this to fix the drainage that I realize is wrong, and nobody will let me tell them about the drainage. That's why I was removed from the membership of the HOA, as long as we don't hear his explanation of what's wrong with the house, or he goes out and hires a lawyer, I'm not going to attempt to put this down on paper or make a legal letter to try to get leverage to fix this on my own. I got to pay a lawyer. And I'm not going to let a lawyer threaten or lawyer imply that we're going to court next, because I can't afford to go into court. It'd be useless to have me to have a lawyer write it. All he's doing is organizing the thoughts and getting it out to the people. But like I said, I'm making this video. It's going to go on YouTube. I'm trying to get my neighbors on my street to realize what they lost when they put the sign up at tract day and the rocks in. You got your pockets picked. Your first class lab is now in the back of the plane. You got to go out to the 7th tee box every day to use the lab. Mr. Veskerna came in here, and with the HOA's help and the town of Buckeye's help, they took away your first class lab in your seating area. And now you have to go to the back of the plane every time you want to use the lab. That's what I think of all the golfers in Parcel 12 that go the long way. The people that live right next to tract A will drive almost a quarter of a mile out of their way to use the coach lab over there on the 7th tee. They displace people off the walkway. Anybody that's walking on the walkway, whether they're walking the dog, it's a mother with a carriage walking a carriage, two people holding hands walking, when that couple in a golf cart going from the 7th tee up to Moonlight Path or the other one into Parcel 12, I think it's kind of disturbing that people are out there walking on a path, have to get off the path so a golfer can get to his house in Parcel 12 using the 7th tee box, and the public access, that's a public walkway. Parcel 12 has its own dedicated, on paper, the original draft, the highest and best use of tract A was as a drain, golf cart access. It was supposed to be an urban model. The only trouble is they weren't selling to urban people. They were selling to Midwest farmers who have 100 acres, 200 acre plus farms, and they want to bring the Midwest. And if they got here early enough, they were able to tie up the lots on that tract A. Tract A was taken out of business. It was deactivated. There was a mod done on it. There was a mod done that was a shadow mod because there's no paperwork or permitting for it. Okay, go to page 49 of the grading map for this community. Go to page 49 for the grading map of this community. It's a close-up of track day. This is Wednesday morning, the 20th of May, 2020.